him right now in early March a very real Super Bowl contender with Stafford.
So, Mike T, and again, I remind anyone who doesn't know, you're a GM in two different places. You've got the teams that remain left standing at the altar, right? The Giants, let's start with them. The Raiders were another team that were in this. So you're the Giants. Maybe you thought you had a real shot at Stafford. It doesn't happen. How do you pivot?
Yeah, 10 miles down the road, I have a massive pit in my stomach. Right now, if we had to go play tomorrow, it's Tommy DeVito. That's not good enough. If I am the Giants, I agree with what Dan said. Cam Ward's a really good player, maybe a little bit underrated. I get on the phone with the Tennessee Titans. I do not get off the phone. I get a deal done right now, not in 10 minutes, not in an hour, not next week.
To go up to number one, to make sure everyone knows.
And here's why. Because as the spring goes on, the process goes on, more teams are going to see how good Cam Ward is. First of all, I have no idea why Tennessee would even take the call. Because
that's what, like, if I'm Tennessee, I'm not leaving.
But they already said that they're going to entertain trading that pick.
Who cares?
All right,
that's what they said.
But I'm saying, fundamentally, if I'm the Giants, I need at least two quarterbacks. Look, we've seen Sean McVay have Jared Goff pay him and then go get Matt Stafford. We've seen the Eagles, who obviously are a very well-run organization, have Wentz, extend him, draft Hurts. We know what happens. So they need two quarterbacks. But my gosh, Greeny, you can't drive to the stadium on opening day with Tommy DeVito as your quarterback. You got to get to work, and you got to go right now.
I don't think that they're going to drive to the stadium on opening day with Tommy DeVito as their quarterback. The question the Giants have to ask themselves, and they are, is trading up to number one and giving up extra picks to take. Is that the quarterback? Like, are you that sold on Cam Ward as your quarterback that you're willing to do that? They're just coming off of the Daniel Jones experience, right? A guy that went number 6 overall and didn't turn out to be the long-term franchise quarterback. If you miss again, you're toast, right? It sets you back years. So this is what the Giants are going. They've spent a lot of time with Cam Ward and Shadur. I mean, they've scouted them, right?
Yeah.
So do you make the big move to get one of those guys, or do you sit tight, hope one of them goes 1 and 2, take Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, like who you feel like might be a real franchise-changing player, and then address quarterback later in the draft and in free agency and try to patch it together? I don't think the Giants have a great option right now.
If I'm the Tennessee Titans, I am not moving off the number 1 pick, and I'm drafting Cam Ward. Years ago, Joe Burrow was coming out, and there was the conversation, should the Bengals trade back? And I was adamant, I don't care what anyone offers you. I'm not that high right there, but I'm not that far off from it. That's the starting point. If I'm the Giants, now option number 1 does become Aaron Rodgers. That's just their reality. It's a little bit of desperation because the reality is this. Brian Daboll, Joe Shane, they got to win by November or you're gone. That's just the reality of that league. As great as I think Brian Daboll is as a coach, the likeliest way for you to do that, Malik Neighbors, get him to football as many times as you can. He broke the rookie receiving record last year. We know Aaron feeds receivers. Devontae Adams led the league in catches for like 4 straight years. So the starting point is Aaron Rodgers. I'm not telling you it's the done deal. The second part of this is what I would do is this. I would very much so entertain Jackson Dart from Ole Miss or Jalen Milroe from Alabama. Because you got to win.
I like those guys, but if we're sitting 10 miles down the road and you walk in and say, hey, let's go get Rodgers, I would tell you he's going to be 42 in December.
I agree.
He's athletically diminished, and it's been years, guys.
Okay, so let's live in this world, Mike T.
Let's
live in this world. Okay, you call Tennessee. Tennessee's like, it ain't happening, bud. Okay, so then what's option number 2 then? Because if you're going to tell me then it's no to Aaron Rodgers, what's your option? Because you got to win.
Yes, you're looking at Sam Darnold.
If I'm Sam Darnold, I want no part of going back in that building.
So then the other alternatives are the Russell Wilsons, the Justin Fieldses, the names that you know.
The problem is the teams that need quarterbacks don't have great options, and the quarterbacks that need homes don't have great options. Why is Aaron Rodgers going to the Giants? When is he going to win there? Like, not this year. Right? I mean,
you're saying from the Giants' perspective?
No, from Aaron Rodgers' perspective.
How many teams are going to make the offer?
Well, this is why I think this quarterback market's going to take a minute to shake out.
Let me leave this here for a minute because this is a conversation that is going to last through the day and probably through the week. So what of the Giants and Raiders? We heard last week that it was coming down to that, it sounded like, and the Giants, at least I was reading your reporting with Jeremy Fowler, maybe felt they were close. What now for those teams?
I think they felt like if Stafford ultimately decided to leave the Rams, then they would be a good option for him, and I think the Raiders felt the same way. So they both pivot now to their plan B, which is a little unclear. Giants are picking 3rd, so they might have a chance at one of the top 2 quarterbacks, Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders, especially if they're willing to make a trade to move up to number 1, which I think is at least under consideration. We'll see how realistic it turns out to be. After that, The free agents at the top, you're looking at, do you want to bring in Sam Darnold? What does that contract look like? Do you want to bring in a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers? What does that contract look like? Do you want to wait till later in the draft, get one of these second-tier quarterbacks and pair him with a free agent option that isn't as expensive as, say, Darnold likely will be? The Giants are going through all these different permutations. The one thing that's on their mind, Daniel Jones was the 6th pick in the draft.
Right.
And it did not turn out to be their franchise quarterback. If they miss at number 3 that high in the draft again, then they know firsthand that sets them back. I'm not saying it's going to convince them not to take the guy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's part of their calculus.
Let me just set something up here with Rodgers, though, for both of you guys, because I've got the player and I've got the organization, if you will. Aaron Rodgers to the Giants, I think makes sense from neither side. And I'm hearing so much, from you guys that is a likelihood or a possibility or whatever word I should be using. To me, it makes no sense from either side. If you're Aaron Rodgers, I could easily see why you'd want to go to the Rams. I could even see why you could talk yourself into thinking that going back to the Jets, you had a chance to be a contender. Aaron Rodgers to the Giants, tell me, let's start with the player side of it, Dan. Why does it make sense for him?
Malik Neighbors. He's got an all-star receiver, a superstar receiver that he could feed the football to.
They got a left tackle. I mean, the Giants aren't, the cover's not bare,
right.
But they need a lot more players.
Totally. But you as a quarterback, you go, I got an offensive-minded head coach that's a good head coach and a play caller, and I got a star wide receiver. So, if you're Aaron Rodgers, Greeny, you could sit here and say it doesn't make sense. What happens if it's the only team? I want to play. I'm Aaron Rodgers. I want to play. What happens if it's the only team?
See, that's the issue. This quarterback market is like a huge two-way mess, right? Like the places that the quarterbacks would want to sign are not out there. The quarterbacks that the quarterback-needy teams would want to sign are not out there. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out.
Well, let me go to the team then. So now you're Joe Shane. So now you won 3 games last year.
Yep.
You have needs everywhere, and your solution is going to be a quarterback who's going to be 42 years old by the end of next season. Explain that to me.
I'm not doing that, and he's athletically deficient. Now, in fairness, he played good football, but behind that offensive line, it's not a good fit. But that's why, to me, I am going to Tennessee, Greeny, and I am not getting off the phone.
The Giants are, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
I am going to go get Cam Ward, and I'm going to be set for hopefully the next 10, 12 years. To me, especially after this weekend, he is clearly the number one guy, both from the film, the intangible standpoint, and I am going to be proactive and aggressive. Tennessee said they're taking calls, but here's the problem with the Giants, Greeny. They're picking 3rd. We know Cleveland has to solve their quarterback problem somehow, some way, and they're at 2. So to me, if I'm the Giants, I need 2 quarterbacks because I am not driving to the stadium in September with Tommy DeVito. So Darnold's not perfect. I certainly don't want.
Darnold's not going to the Giants.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you. Well, who's your quarterback then?
So here's my thing. You could call you can call me all you want. I am not.
If you're Tennessee,
I am not moving off the number 1 pick. I'm taking Cam Ward if I'm Tennessee. So if you're the Giants, you say, okay, we're not going to get him there. I don't think the Browns would take Shedeur Sanders, and I think Shedeur at 3 is probably a little rich for the Giants.
Right.
So I don't believe Sam Darnold would go back to the Giants because if I'm Sam Darnold, I don't want any part of being in that building. So if you're the Giants and you have to win by November, your options are what? And you might not love the Aaron Rodgers thing, but at least you know we've got a shot. We've got a better shot with Aaron Rodgers for at least 2 months than it's going to be. And then maybe it's a Jalen Milroe in round 2 where we can then build that off-ramp for.
They have the 2nd pick in the 2nd round. They could get a guy there and also come away out of the 1st round with Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Don't underrate the significance of that.
Exactly.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Also want to kindly remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.